Hello, everybody, and welcome back. There's just something about that applause that puts a smile on my face, brightens up my day. Nothing wrong with that. I would like to talk about, in this podcast, building rapport with people. And when I say that, I'm talking about specifically meeting people and dating. So I made a video before, a while ago. It was a video blog and whatever, and I did discuss this, so I'm going to say it again. I'm going to talk about it again with more detail. Dating apps, right? That's the modern way of dating, and I am sure everybody's on that internet trying to meet somebody. And this is just the way it is now, right? When you compare it to the way it was back in the day. This is it. And I'm sure there's a handful of folks that still meet people in person, and look, I understand that, there are bonuses, there's pluses and minuses when it comes to technology, and perhaps it's a blessing in disguise that we have this, because you have people that are shy, that they're introverts, they have anxiety approach, and they're not necessarily great at, trying to meet somebody in person. And I understand that. But, what happens to somebody who's like that? They meet somebody on a dating app and they have more confidence because they're doing it at the comfort of their own home on their phone. But what happens when they actually meet this person? Then what happens, right? So, yeah, you'll probably get your foot through the door. But then what, right? But, at least it still gives them an opportunity. It still does. And I don't know. I just think that dating the old way, meeting people the old way, I should say, is probably better even for those who are introverts, because, as long as they put the, look, we're all busy, right? You're older, you work, you don't have time, you don't really get an opportunity to go out, and the controlled environments such as work or school or wherever you are, maybe there's nobody to meet. I get all that, and I'm not saying delete the dating apps. It should be there, but I just think that people need to put more of an effort and more of an emphasis on their dating life by going out there and making themselves available to meet somebody. Let's look at dating apps for a second. I feel that dating apps put less value on people. And the reason being, right, because you have all these platforms, you're matching with all these people, and it's hard to keep in touch and to talk to everybody, right? And it's just counterproductive, right? You're thinking, I have like 30, 40, 50 people that are waiting to talk to me on multiple platforms. And, people are people. They're not going to wait around for you for weeks until you get back to them, right? They're going to move on. And you have the potential of possibly just missing out on someone great. When you do this in comparison to somebody in person, right? Let's say you decide, you know what, it's Saturday night, I'm going to go out to a restaurant and then a nightclub, whatever it is, and you meet someone. Sure, there's many people and you can meet more than one person that night, but you're not going to talk to 30 people at the same time. Right? You're going to talk to one person. And already, if you're getting a vibe, and vibes are very important. That's another thing with dating apps, I wanted to mention that a little later, but I'm mentioning it now, that hiding behind the phone, you're not necessarily looking at each other's body language or vibes. And this is something you can do in person, right? So in person, you might think someone is attractive, but for some reason, if they come speak with you and the vibe is just not there, you'll know sooner rather than later. And then you'll go to the next person. And then if you have to, you'll go to the next person. And when I look at all this, it's so easy for me to compare to streaming services. I know this is weird, but just give me a second. When I look at dating apps, right? Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, right? Match.com. There's so many. Netflix, HBO Max, Hulu, whatever, Amazon Prime, same thing. So now, and I find this to be the case for me. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch a movie. I sit down, I go through Netflix. Then I'm like, you know what? Let me see what Amazon has. By the time I'm done trying to pick out a movie, it's too late or I pass out. Okay? Back in the day, what would we people do? We would go to Blockbuster or some other video store, right? Hollywood Video or mom and pop shop. And you'd go there and you'd make an investment of your time and money. With Netflix, we have a monthly subscription. You know, they charge our card. We don't even realize what's going on. We forget about that. But here, you're making an investment on your money and your time, right? So you get up, you go to the video store, drive over there, you look for a title, and you know you have a time limit, right? Because of a few things, like, you know, the store is going to close eventually, and then you want to make sure you catch the register before the line gets long, whatever it is. So you go out there, you get the DVD, you find it, VHS for some people. You go rent the video, you're paying money, and it's due in 2 days or a week, whatever it is, it's due. So you know it's due, and you're like, damn, I got to watch this because I want to get my money's worth, and I have to bring it back by a certain day. Because if I don't, I wasted my time and I wasted my money. Does that sound familiar? That's how it is with dating apps, right? You're on all these platforms talking to all these people, and you just kind of take it for granted, don't you? Instead of when you're going out there, you're making an investment again on your money and on your time. More importantly, time is more valuable than money. We all know that. We all know what Costco is, right? Costco. They've been known to have, I believe, of about a couple of brands per item. And there's a very good reason for why they do this. Now, the reason is because people just have a tough time making decisions sometimes. And studies show that they're going to make a decision easier when there's only one or two options. Now, when you go somewhere else, there's 7 options available. They feel overwhelmed. They don't know which one to pick, and they'll get back to it later. Does that sound familiar? You know, I can't tell you how many times people look on dating apps and they're like, I'll get back to that person later, and then they forget and a month goes by, and then that person's already dating somebody else. So what I'm urging people to do is to try to go meet someone in person. Now, for all you introverts out there, if you try this, I believe that no matter how shy you are, you can sharpen your skills, you can build confidence, and that's key. More than anything is confidence. Confidence. How do we get this confidence, right? Especially if we have trouble finding it. Well, I would say working out. Working out, hygiene, style. These things, it's sure, I guess it has to do with appearance and the way people look at you, sure. But think beyond that. It's about how you feel about yourself, right? So working out, you don't have to be a bodybuilder or anything. You don't have to do anything crazy. It's not even necessarily always about looks. But working out, it just puts you in a better mode. It gives you a jolt of energy. And it's a confidence booster. You just feel great. That soreness of your muscle when you get out the gym, especially the next day when you wake up, you just feel awesome. I can't explain it. But I know that you guys know what I'm talking about. And the same thing with hygiene, right? I mean, come on. If you take care of yourself, you're going to feel great. It's like, how many times did you come home from a crazy day and you're like, I just need to take that shower, because it makes us feel great. Um, and then style, of course, right? But again, you're wearing nice clothes, you're wearing some good stuff, you feel great. And I'm not talking about, you know, I'm not talking about brand names. You don't have to wear Louis Vuitton or Gucci or anything. You could get creative with Zara, H&M, or whatever, Banana Republic. You could get creative with those places. So when it comes to meeting somebody in person, it's a work of art. It's something where you can get creative. Now, let's say we're in a controlled environment like work or school. I don't care how long you know this person that you want to ask out. You need something along the lines of building rapport. Now, if you do not build rapport, even if you know them for a while, I don't see them saying yes. They're not familiar with you. They don't feel comfortable with you. Okay? And you need to build rapport. And sometimes it takes time. But if you're in a controlled environment like school or work, then you have some time. Yes, being confident, as I mentioned, is a key for that, but it's also flirting. And it doesn't have to be sexual. Most people think flirting is sexual. It could be harmless, innocent, playful banter, that sort of thing. That's what it could be. And it's all about timing also, okay? You can't do that too quickly, and you can't wait way too long to do it either. All right? It has to be just right. And don't worry, when it's just right, it's not like you have a 5-minute window and it's over. But you have to strike while it's hot. And the question is, well, how do you know that the time is right? And the answer is, you know. You know. You just have to be honest with yourself. And I think the reason why people are not honest with themselves is because they're nervous, they're afraid, they don't actually want to get rejected. They want to savor that sweet moment of having great rapport and vibes and whatever, and you don't want it to end. But why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want it to end? Meaning, like, if it's not going anywhere, then you might as well, see what's there. You might as well ask out. And if it's meant for you to get rejected, then you get rejected. It's like after you go out on a date, sometimes you're afraid to contact the person the next day because you're afraid that they're going to, say, oh, yeah, sorry, it's not going to work out. But listen, whether you contact them the next day or in 2 days or in 3 days, they already made up their mind. So you might as well contact them and find out. And we miss 100% of the shots that we do not take. So if you don't contact them at all, how do you know maybe they're interested? Sometimes it's hard to read people. So you have to strike while it's hot. You can't, again, you can't do it too fast, and you can't wait too long to do it either. It's about timing. Now, when you're in a controlled environment, let's say, but you don't have a lot of time, right? Like you meet somebody at a bus stop or, a nightclub or whatever, you get it, then, same rules apply, but you just have less time. And you need to build up that rapport. And listen, people understand. They're not stupid. They understand that, if they like you and if they have interest, then they'll know time is of the essence, and they perhaps will cooperate with you just so you can ask them out successfully. Now there's also something where, what if I see someone amazing on the street as I'm passing by? That's a slippery slope, People are in a hurry. That's borderline creepy. They feel like, they'll feel like, what? They'll be confused. And yes, maybe you're even like the greatest looking person in the world, but I still feel chances of that being successful is low. Because even if the person gives you their number, they might most likely not respond because they're like, I don't even know this person. They're just random off the street. You don't have the time to build the rapport. But listen, if you must meet them, and if you're like, it's like in the movies, you see somebody and you just like fall in love. And although I don't believe love at first sight exists, but if you feel like this attraction towards them and you must meet them, okay, well then, maybe you'll get lucky and you'll catch some waiting, to cross the street at a red light. And you could ask for directions or something and shoot your shot, see what happens. But yeah, so listen, I want to know what you guys think. Whether you agree or disagree, please leave me a comment. If you like this podcast, give me a like and subscribe to my network. Until next time.